What is consciousness? Exploring the hard problem. What is consciousness? This enigmatic question has perplexed scientists and philosophers alike for centuries. From the ancient musings of Aristotle to the modern insights of neuroscience, the nature of consciousness has remained an enduring mystery, defying definitive explanations and fueling endless fascination. Today, we embark on an extraordinary journey to explore one of the most captivating aspects of this enigma, the hard problem of consciousness. Coined by the philosopher David Chalmers, this term encapsulates the fundamental challenge of reconciling our subjective experience of consciousness with the objective, physical processes that underlie it. Prepare yourself for a thought-provoking exploration as we delve into the depths of this conundrum, navigating through philosophical perspectives, scientific insights, and the very essence of what it means to be conscious. Defining consciousness. To begin our inquiry, we must first understand what is meant by the term consciousness itself. The traditional definition, from the philosophical standpoint, characterizes consciousness as an awareness of oneself and environment. It encompasses the subjective experiences that make up our internal reality, our thoughts, feelings, and perceptions. However, this definition merely scratches the surface of the profound depths we are about to explore. For the heart of the matter lies not in defining consciousness itself, but in understanding the fundamental nature of the conscious experience and its relationship to the physical world. The hard problem of consciousness. At the crux of our exploration lies the hard problem of consciousness, a term coined by the philosopher David Chalmers. This problem encapsulates the essential difficulty of reconciling our subjective, first-person experiences of consciousness with the objective, third-person descriptions provided by science. In essence, the hard problem asks, how can subjective, qualitative experiences arise from objective, physical processes? How can the richness of conscious awareness emerge from the mere interactions of neurons and material substances? This question strikes at the heart of the matter, challenging us to bridge the seemingly insurmountable gap between the subjective realm of experience and the objective realm of scientific inquiry. It is this hard problem that has captivated philosophers and thinkers throughout history, and it is this very enigma that we shall now confront head-on. Philosophical perspectives. Centuries of inquiry. From the ancient Greeks to the modern era, the question of consciousness has been a central preoccupation of philosophy. Let us now explore some of the key philosophical perspectives that have shaped our understanding of this profound subject. René Descartes and the mind-body dualism. One of the earliest and most influential philosophical perspectives on consciousness is Descartes' famous cogito, ergo sum, I think, therefore I am. This declaration encapsulates Descartes' belief in the fundamental separation between the mind and the body, a concept known as mind-body dualism. According to Descartes, the mind or consciousness, residential cogitans, is a non-physical substance, distinct from the physical body, residential extensa. This view directly addresses the hard problem of consciousness by positing that the mind, being non-physical, cannot be reduced to or explained by physical processes alone. Immanuel Kant and transcendental idealism. Another pivotal figure in the philosophical exploration of consciousness is Immanuel Kant. In his seminal work, The Critique of Pure Reason, Kant advanced the idea of transcendental idealism, which held that our knowledge of the world is shaped by the innate structures of our minds. Kant's transcendental idealism proposed that our perception of reality is filtered through the fundamental categories of human thought, such as space and time. This view suggests that our conscious experience is not merely a passive reception of external stimuli, but an active construction shaped by the inherent frameworks of our minds. Modern philosophical perspectives. In more recent times, various philosophical perspectives have emerged in an attempt to grapple with the enduring enigma of consciousness. From the materialist view, which seeks to explain consciousness as an emergent property of physical processes, to the idealist perspective that posits consciousness as the fundamental basis of reality, the philosophical discourse continues to evolve. One particularly intriguing perspective is that of naturalistic dualism, which acknowledges both the physical and the mental as equally real aspects of existence, without reducing one to the other. This approach aims to reconcile the subjective experience of consciousness with the objective findings of science, offering a more integrative framework for understanding this complex phenomenon. Bridging philosophy and science. While philosophical inquiry has provided a rich tapestry of perspectives and insights, scientific exploration has also played a crucial role in our understanding of consciousness. From neuroscience and psychology to quantum mechanics and information theory, various scientific disciplines have contributed invaluable knowledge and empirical evidence to this enduring quest. One of the key contributions of science has been the exploration of the neural correlates of consciousness. Through various imaging techniques and experimental methods, researchers have identified specific brain regions and patterns of activity that appear to correspond with different states of consciousness, such as wakefulness, sleep, and altered states of awareness. However, despite these insights, the fundamental question of how these physical processes give rise to the subjective experience of consciousness remains unanswered. This is where the hard problem of consciousness persists, defying a purely reductive or materialistic explanation. Exploring the hard problem, key perspectives. To better understand the nature of the hard problem, let us explore some of the key perspectives and arguments that have been put forth by philosophers, scientists, and thinkers throughout history. The knowledge argument. One of the most influential arguments in support of the hard problem is the knowledge argument, famously articulated by the philosopher Frank Jackson. This argument posits that even if we were to know all the physical facts about the brain and the neural processes underlying consciousness, we would still lack a crucial aspect of understanding the subjective experience of consciousness itself. The knowledge argument suggests that no matter how much we learn about the objective, physical properties of consciousness, the first-person, subjective aspect will always remain elusive and irreducible to mere physical descriptions. The explanatory gap. Closely related to the knowledge argument is the concept of the explanatory gap, which highlights the apparent disconnect between the subjective experience of consciousness and the objective descriptions of physical processes. This explanatory gap reflects the fundamental difficulty in explaining how and why certain physical processes give rise to the rich tapestry of subjective experiences we associate with consciousness. It is a barrier that suggests that the hard problem of consciousness may be inherently resistant to a purely reductive or materialistic explanation. The challenge of transcendental properties. Some philosophers and thinkers have argued that the hard problem of consciousness arises from the inherent limitations of our conceptual frameworks and modes of understanding. They posit that the subjective nature of consciousness may transcend the boundaries of what can be fully captured or explained through our existing conceptual and linguistic structures. This perspective suggests that the hard problem may ultimately be a manifestation of the limitations of our own minds in comprehending the full scope of consciousness, rather than an indication of a fundamental barrier or mystery. Exploring consciousness. As we delve deeper into the exploration of consciousness, it becomes evident that this enigmatic phenomenon transcends the boundaries of any single discipline or approach. It is a multifaceted inquiry that demands a synthesis of philosophical, scientific, and experiential perspectives. To truly confront the hard problem of consciousness, we must embrace a holistic and open-minded exploration, drawing upon the insights of philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, and potentially other fields yet to be explored. In this spirit of intellectual curiosity and openness, let us now dive deeper into the exploration of consciousness, guided by the wisdom of those who have grappled with this profound and perplexing topic. The hard problem, perspectives from philosophy. At the heart of our exploration lies the hard problem of consciousness, as articulated by the philosopher David Chalmers. This problem encapsulates the fundamental challenge of reconciling our subjective, first-person experiences of consciousness with the objective, third-person descriptions provided by science. To better understand the nature and depth of this problem, let us now turn to the rich tapestry of philosophical perspectives that have shaped our understanding of consciousness throughout the ages. René Descartes and the primacy of subjective experience. One of the earliest and most influential philosophical perspectives on consciousness comes from René Descartes, the 17th century French philosopher and mathematician. Descartes' famous dictum, "I think, therefore I am, cogito ergo sum," encapsulates the primacy he placed on subjective experience as the basis for knowledge and understanding. In his philosophical works, Descartes draws a fundamental distinction between the mental realm of consciousness, residential cogitans, and the physical realm of matter, residential extensa. This dualistic view posits that consciousness, or the mind, is a non-physical substance that cannot be reduced to or explained solely by the physical processes of the body. Descartes' perspective directly confronts the hard problem of consciousness by asserting the irreducibility of subjective experience to purely material or physical explanations. His philosophical stance highlights the seemingly unbridgeable gap between the rich inner world of conscious experience and the objective descriptions of physical processes provided by science. Dennett and the illusion of consciousness. In contrast to Descartes' dualistic view, the contemporary philosopher Dennett offers a radically different perspective on consciousness. Dennett, a proponent of philosophical materialism, argues that consciousness is not a separate, non-physical substance, but rather an emergent property of brain activity. In his influential work, Consciousness Explained, Dennett posits that our subjective experience of consciousness is akin to an illusion or a user illusion created by the complex interactions of neural processes. He argues that there is no need for a distinct, non-physical entity to explain consciousness, as the brain's computational processes are sufficient to account for our subjective experiences. Dennett's perspective directly challenges the hard problem of consciousness by rejecting the notion of an unbridgeable gap between subjective experience and physical processes. Instead, he suggests that our conscious experiences are part of a seamless continuum with the objective, physical world, and that understanding the neural mechanisms underlying consciousness will ultimately dissolve the apparent mystery. George Berkeley and idealist monism. Another influential philosophical perspective on consciousness comes from the 18th century philosopher George Berkeley, who advocated for a form of idealist monism. Berkeley's view, known as subjective idealism or immaterialism, posits that reality is fundamentally mental or spiritual in nature, and that physical objects exist only as perceptions in the mind. According to Berkeley's philosophy, consciousness is not merely a byproduct of physical processes, but rather the primary and fundamental reality from which all else derives. This view challenges the hard problem of consciousness by reversing the traditional order of primacy, placing conscious experience at the forefront and positing that the physical world is ultimately grounded in and derived from consciousness itself. Panpsychism and the universality of consciousness. A more recent philosophical perspective on consciousness that has gained traction is panpsychism. This view, which has its roots in ancient philosophies but has been revived by contemporary thinkers like Philip Goff, posits that consciousness is a fundamental feature of all matter and is present at all levels of reality, from subatomic particles to the most complex organisms. Panpsychism offers a radically different approach to the hard problem of consciousness by rejecting the notion that consciousness emerges from or is produced by physical processes. Instead, it suggests that consciousness is an inherent and pervasive aspect of the universe, present even in the most fundamental building blocks of reality. This perspective challenges the traditional separation between the subjective and objective realms, proposing that consciousness is not an isolated phenomenon, but rather a universal and intrinsic feature of the cosmos itself. Edmund Husserl and phenomenology. In the early 20th century, the philosopher Edmund Husserl pioneered the philosophical movement known as phenomenology, which focused on the structures of consciousness and subjective experience from a first-person perspective. Husserl's phenomenological approach sought to describe and understand the essential features of conscious experience, such as intentionality, temporality, and the relationship between the subject and the world. By adopting a rigorous and systematic method of examining subjective experiences, phenomenology aimed to uncover the fundamental structures and qualities of consciousness itself. While not directly addressing the hard problem of consciousness, Husserl's phenomenological perspective provided a valuable framework for exploring and articulating the rich tapestry of subjective experiences that lie at the heart of the conscious mind. This approach offered a complementary lens to the scientific study of consciousness, emphasizing the importance of first-person accounts and the irreducibility of subjective experience. As we navigate these diverse philosophical perspectives, we are reminded of the enduring complexity and depth of the hard problem of consciousness. Each philosophical tradition offers unique insights and challenges, highlighting the multifaceted nature of this enigmatic phenomenon and underscoring the importance of an interdisciplinary approach in our quest for understanding. The scientific pursuit, unraveling consciousness. While philosophical inquiry has provided a rich tapestry of perspectives and insights into the nature of consciousness, Scientific exploration has also played a crucial role in our pursuit of understanding this profound enigma. From neuroscience and psychology to quantum mechanics and information theory, various scientific disciplines have contributed invaluable knowledge and empirical evidence to this enduring quest. Let us now turn our attention to the scientific perspectives that have shed light on the workings of consciousness, while also grappling with the profound challenges posed by the hard problem. Neuroscience and the neural correlates of consciousness. One of the most significant contributions of science to our understanding of consciousness has been the exploration of the neural correlates, the specific brain regions and patterns of activity that correspond to different states of consciousness. Through advanced imaging techniques such as functional magnetic resonance imaging, fMRI, and electroencephalography, EEG, neuroscientists have identified key brain areas and neural networks that appear to be involved in various aspects of conscious experience, such as perception, attention, and decision-making. However, while these findings have provided invaluable insights into the neural mechanisms underlying consciousness, they have also highlighted the inherent limitations of a purely materialistic or reductive approach. Despite our growing knowledge of the brain's intricate workings, the fundamental question of how these physical processes give rise to the rich, subjective experience of consciousness remains unanswered, thus perpetuating the hard problem. Integrated Information Theory, IIT. One of the most promising scientific frameworks for addressing the hard problem of consciousness is the Integrated Information Theory, IIT, developed by the neuroscientist Giulio Tononi. This theory proposes that consciousness corresponds to the ability of a system to integrate information in a unified and coherent manner. According to IIT, the more a system can integrate diverse information into a unified whole, the higher its level of consciousness. This theory suggests that consciousness is not merely an emergent property of complex neural networks, but rather a fundamental feature of reality, present to varying degrees in all physical systems. By positing that consciousness is intrinsically tied to the integration of information, IIT offers a potential bridge between the subjective and objective realms, proposing a quantifiable measure for the presence and intensity of conscious experiences. Global Workspace Theory, GWT. Another influential scientific perspective on consciousness is the Global Workspace Theory, GWT, proposed by the cognitive scientist Bernard Bars. This theory suggests that consciousness arises from the integration of information in a global workspace within the brain, where various cognitive processes and specialized modules converge and share information. According to GWT, conscious experience emerges when information from diverse brain regions is broadcasted and made globally available within this workspace, allowing for the integration and coordination of different cognitive functions. This perspective offers a potential explanation for the subjective unity of consciousness, as well as its selective and attentional aspects. While GWT provides a compelling framework for understanding the neural mechanisms underlying conscious experience, it does not directly address the hard problem of how these integrated processes give rise to the qualitative, subjective nature of consciousness itself. Quantum consciousness. One of the more speculative and controversial scientific perspectives on consciousness is the idea of quantum consciousness, proposed by physicists like Roger Penrose and Stuart Hameroff. This theory suggests that consciousness arises from quantum processes occurring within the microtubules of neurons, challenging the conventional view that consciousness emerges solely from classical neural computation. According to the quantum consciousness hypothesis, the peculiar properties of quantum mechanics, such as superposition and entanglement, may play a role in the emergence of conscious experience. Proponents argue that these quantum phenomena could account for aspects of consciousness that are difficult to explain through classical physics alone, such as the non-algorithmic and non-computable aspects of subjective experience. While intriguing, the quantum consciousness hypothesis remains highly speculative and lacks substantial empirical evidence. It nonetheless highlights the ongoing quest to find a scientific explanation for the enigmatic nature of consciousness, even if it means venturing into the realms of the most fundamental laws of physics. As we navigate these scientific perspectives, it becomes evident that the pursuit of understanding consciousness is a multifaceted endeavor, one that requires collaboration and cross-pollination between diverse fields of study. Each approach offers valuable insights while also exposing the limitations of our current understanding, reinforcing the enduring challenge posed by the hard problem of consciousness. In our quest to unravel the mysteries of consciousness, philosophers and thinkers have employed thought experiments and conceptual challenges to probe the depths of this enigmatic phenomenon. These mental exercises have played a pivotal role in illuminating the complexities of the hard problem and exposing the limitations of our current understanding. Let us now explore some of the most influential thought experiments and conceptual challenges that have shaped the discourse on consciousness. The Chinese room argument. One of the most famous thought experiments in the study of consciousness is the Chinese room argument, proposed by the philosopher John Searle. This thought experiment is designed to challenge the notion that a computer program, or any purely computational system, can truly possess or generate genuine understanding or consciousness. The Chinese room scenario imagines a person who is monolingual in English and has no knowledge of Chinese. This person is placed in a room with a set of rules for manipulating Chinese characters, allowing them to respond to Chinese inputs with appropriate Chinese outputs, effectively simulating a Chinese-speaking entity. Searle's argument posits that while the person in the room may appear to be exhibiting intelligent behavior by manipulating the Chinese characters correctly, they do not actually understand the meaning of the Chinese language. This thought experiment raises profound questions about the nature of consciousness and whether it can truly emerge from purely syntactic or computational processes, as proposed by some theories of artificial intelligence. The knowledge argument, Mary the color scientist. Another influential thought experiment in the realm of consciousness is the knowledge argument, famously articulated by the philosopher Frank Jackson through the hypothetical scenario of Mary the color scientist. In this thought experiment, we imagine a brilliant scientist named Mary who has been raised and confined in a black and white room since birth. Despite her extensive knowledge of physics, neuroscience, and the objective processes involved in color perception, Jackson argues that there is a crucial aspect of the experience of color that Mary cannot truly comprehend until she is released from the room and experiences color perception firsthand. The knowledge argument suggests that even with complete scientific knowledge of the physical processes underlying conscious experiences like color perception, there remains a subjective, qualitative aspect that cannot be fully captured or explained by objective, third-person descriptions alone. This thought experiment directly challenges the notion that consciousness can be fully reduced to or explained by physical processes, reinforcing the hard problem of consciousness. The explanatory gap. Closely related to the knowledge argument is the concept of the explanatory gap, which highlights the apparent disconnect between the subjective experience of consciousness and the objective descriptions of physical processes. This explanatory gap reflects the fundamental difficulty in explaining how and why certain physical processes give rise to the rich tapestry of subjective experiences we associate with consciousness. It suggests that even if we were to have a complete understanding of the neural correlates and physical processes underlying consciousness, there would still be a profound gap in our ability to explain the subjective, qualitative aspect of conscious experience. The existence of this explanatory gap poses a significant challenge to reductive or purely materialistic explanations of consciousness, suggesting that the hard problem may ultimately resist a purely physical or computational solution. The binding problem. Another conceptual challenge in the study of consciousness is the binding problem, which refers to the question of how the brain integrates and binds together various sensory inputs, cognitive processes, and elements of subjective experience into a coherent, unified whole. The binding problem highlights the apparent disconnect between the distributed and modular nature of neural processing and the subjective experience of consciousness as a seamless, integrated phenomenon. It raises questions about how the diverse and parallel streams of information processing in the brain are integrated and bound together to create the unified, coherent experience of consciousness that we subjectively experience. This conceptual challenge underscores the complexity of the hard problem of consciousness and suggests that a comprehensive understanding of consciousness may require accounting for not only the neural correlates but also the mechanisms by which these distributed processes are integrated and bound into a cohesive subjective experience. As we explore these thought experiments and conceptual challenges, we are reminded of the profound depths of the hard problem of consciousness and the limitations of our current understanding. These mental exercises serve as catalysts for further inquiry, pushing us to question our assumptions and to seek more comprehensive and integrative frameworks for comprehending the nature of subjective experience. Bridging the divide, interdisciplinary approaches. As we have seen throughout our exploration, the study of consciousness has been a multifaceted endeavor, drawing upon insights from philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, and various other disciplines. However, it has become increasingly evident that no single perspective or approach can fully capture the complexity and depth of this enigmatic phenomenon. To truly confront the hard problem of consciousness and unravel its enduring mysteries, we must embrace an interdisciplinary approach, one that bridges the divide between diverse fields of study and fosters a synthesis of knowledge and understanding. In recent years, there has been a growing recognition of the importance of interdisciplinary collaboration in the study of consciousness. Philosophers and scientists have begun to engage in active dialogue, seeking to integrate conceptual and empirical insights and to develop new frameworks that transcend the boundaries of individual disciplines. One such interdisciplinary approach is neurophenomenology, which combines the methods of neuroscience with the insights of phenomenology, the philosophical study of subjective experience. This approach aims to bridge the gap between objective, third-person observations of neural activity and the subjective, first-person accounts of conscious experience, offering a more holistic and integrative perspective on consciousness. Another promising interdisciplinary framework is the field of consciousness studies, which brings together researchers from diverse backgrounds, including philosophy, neuroscience, psychology, cognitive science, and even physics and information theory. This multidisciplinary approach encourages the cross-pollination of ideas and methodologies, fostering a more comprehensive understanding of consciousness that transcends the limitations of any single discipline. Interdisciplinary collaborations have also yielded innovative theories and models of consciousness, such as the Integrated Information Theory, IIT, and the Global Workspace Theory, GWT, which we explored earlier. These frameworks attempt to bridge the gap between subjective experience and objective neural processes, drawing upon insights from various fields to develop more comprehensive and explanatory models. As we continue to grapple with the hard problem of consciousness, it becomes increasingly clear that the path forward lies in embracing a spirit of intellectual openness and interdisciplinary collaboration. By bringing together diverse perspectives, methodologies, and ways of knowing, we stand a better chance of unraveling the enduring mysteries that lie at the heart of this profound enigma. As we reach the conclusion of our journey through the depths of consciousness and the hard problem that lies at its core, we are left with a profound sense of awe and humility. The exploration of consciousness has revealed itself to be one of the greatest intellectual and existential challenges of our time, a quest that has captivated the minds of philosophers, scientists, and thinkers for centuries. Throughout our exploration, we have encountered a rich tapestry of perspectives, ranging from the ancient musings of philosophers like Plato and Aristotle to the cutting-edge theories and empirical insights of modern neuroscience and quantum physics. We have grappled with the fundamental question of how subjective, qualitative experiences can arise from objective, physical processes, and we have confronted the seemingly unbridgeable gap between the subjective and objective realms. Yet, in the face of this enduring enigma, our journey has yielded invaluable insights and a deeper appreciation for the complexity of consciousness. We have explored philosophical perspectives that challenge our assumptions and push the boundaries of our understanding, from Descartes' mind-body dualism to the idealist monism of Berkeley and the contemporary resurgence of Panpsychism. We have delved into the scientific pursuit of consciousness, unraveling the neural correlates and mechanisms that underlie our subjective experiences, while also acknowledging the limitations of purely reductive or materialistic explanations. From the integrated information theory to the global workspace model and the speculative realm of quantum consciousness, we have witnessed the relentless quest of science to shed light on this profound enigma. Yet, as we have discovered, the hard problem of consciousness persists, defying our attempts to fully bridge the gap between subjective experience and objective descriptions. The thought experiments and conceptual challenges we have explored, from the Chinese room to the knowledge argument and the binding problem, have reinforced the depth and intractability of this enduring mystery. Ultimately, our exploration has taught us that the pursuit of understanding consciousness is not merely an intellectual exercise but a profound inquiry into the very nature of our existence. It is a quest that demands humility, intellectual openness, and a willingness to transcend the boundaries of individual disciplines and ways of thinking. As we stand at the precipice of this enduring mystery, we are reminded that the journey itself is a testament to the boundless curiosity and relentless spirit of human inquiry. Whether we ultimately unravel the secrets of consciousness or not, the act of grappling with this profound enigma pushes us to expand the horizons of our understanding.